Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief. Unfortunately, our director producer is still living in the third world, and when you live in the third world, you get third world internet access. I don't know how the hell this guy's pulling off this Bitcoin economy down there. I think it's a little horse hockey, if you ask me, but nonetheless, we'll just keep plowing through here until Chris can get
Ryan, you there?
things set up over there on
Testing,
in
testing.
his you can hear him. He can't even hear me. This is almost hilarious.
As I'm connected.
But anyway, I've hit the live button. I do see there are a couple people over there on
I
YouTube.
don't know what's happening.
So can you guys let me know? Kevin and Ming and Goose 8, and there's Gilts. It looks like we've got a few people over here. You can hear me? All right, awesome. That's good to hear. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Yesterday I went on at length about how I think that this whole crypto market is basically moving into this month ahead of the Halvening event kind of window. And I don't think it's in anybody's best interest to step in front of this thing. They will top this when they top this. We also talked yesterday a little bit about how usually the way markets top out is they go into trade location. I mean, I think now trade location would be just nothing more than a test of these previous highs. But I was actually told by our Europeans that Bitcoin has actually gone to new all-time highs versus the euro this morning. So my hunch is they're going to go blast through these highs. Probably what would be smart now is to actually start doing extension
I don't know
studies.
if you can hear me, but
Something along those lines. So 113s, that's pretty popular extension level. And 127s, that's also a very popular. Notice that that would basically be right up against that trend line. Here's my little 2014-15 cycle comparison, but as I told you yesterday, I think it's a mug's game to actually pick tops here. This thing will just top out when it's going to top out, and frankly speaking, we just don't know when it's going to top out or exactly where. I do like the idea, like I've said before repeatedly, that we're probably going to get some sort of top about a month or so ahead of the Halvening event. But that means we still got like 2 or 3 weeks to go here, right? It's, well, not 2 or 3 weeks. Probably a week. Look at all this nonsense. Jesus. I gotta tell you, since this computer crashed and I had to reinstall everything, God, this Windows operating system is just a colossal pain in the ass. So it's saying I have to set up my calendars now. God, a screwy world. I was gonna sell some Dogecoin because it also now doubled from our purchase price. And I literally spent probably like an hour or something this morning just trying to get a damn Dogecoin sell executed. It's actually turned out. I get the feeling that this technology and all this computer stuff, it's making our lives a lot harder than easier. This was so much easier a few years ago. But anyway, that's just Brian bitching and complaining. Right? What do they call them? Legacy guy? I don't know. Julian's got some funny name for old men like me. As you can see, I'm just updating this as we go here this morning, so it's a little bit sloppy. Anyway, nothing really changes here. If I actually did want to do a value purchase for Bitcoin, it would still be down here around the 20,000-30,000 area. And I'd actually consider that rich too, but oh well. The problem here is what's the value of money? I went on at length on the public broadcast. And of course, this is what's going to get me thrown in jail in my fucking communist country. But you know, this is the money supply situation in Canada, and it's just not stopping. And as I put out on Twitter yesterday, and I think it's a good idea, if you do really want to understand what inflation actually is, because keep in mind, inflation is a completely made up concept, you know. I mean, 500 years ago, there was no such thing as inflation, other than, you know, the governments de jour would slowly shave off like the actual metal of coins and stuff And that would be your inflation, right? The coin itself would be less and less and less valuable. So the prices of stuff would go up in the less and less valuable coins. It's no difference. The only problem nowadays is that these governments, and especially uneducated idiots like this guy who don't even understand economics 101, we just went through that 2000, 21, 22. The guy with the big boobs, shop teacher nonsense. It was like, an MMT. I did see somebody made reference to the MMT world sort of hitting its zenith through that Jupiter-Saturn cross. I mean, people just lost all sensibility about how money works. And in that environment, of course, the banksters, they just go, oh, man, are we going to screw these people? And we're going to screw them hard. And you even see, in my country, the banks should have a fiduciary responsibility. I still think they have a fiduciary responsibility to keep the public out of trouble. But what did the banks do through all that nonsense? Where home prices got bid up to absolutely stupid, just insane levels. And where's my funny picture? This girl right here. I mean, it's so tragic. Here's more of it, right? Now the banks are actually suing these people because they actually got suckered into believing that, hey, you know what? Home prices are just going to go through the roof indefinitely. And of course, we'll never lose our jobs. So, yeah, we're guaranteed to be able to. And then, they amortize these things for absolutely insane periods, lock in the humans into financial slavery, and eventually the humans give up. This poor girl, if anything, I think the banks actually have a responsibility to her, because they suckered her into overpaying for the house and locking into a mortgage forever for the rest of our lives. But what are the banks doing? They're actually turning around, and she's already declared bankruptcy, and they're suing her now. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So, the one thing you all needed to learn from this Jupiter-Saturn cross, and I sure hope you did, was the banks, they're not your friends. That Jerry Powell guy that you see constantly talking, he's not your friend, and he's not working on your behalf. He's working on other people's behalf. And, this kind of thing just makes me sick to my stomach. Because eventually we're going to have people start to reiterate Mr. Friedman's endless speeches from the 1970s. And eventually somebody's going to come along and say, you know what? This guy's right. And eventually this idiot's going to be thrown out of office because he's completely destroyed our country. Eventually. But how long does this go on for? We spent some time yesterday looking at the inflation picture, and ironically enough, the inflation equation from 1947, 1948 shows another inflationary wave that makes the last inflationary wave look like a joke. So get ready. I mean, we're not even close to this finishing. We haven't even got to the point where society's going, hey, enough is enough. It's only when we get to our society, you only hear guys like Beamish barking about it. I'm all here on an island all by myself. We actually have to get to the point where, a good portion of people in our society say enough is enough. And then eventually the politicians go, you're probably right. Our old society's been completely destroyed. Yeah, I guess maybe we should do something about this. That might take another 10 years. So with that backdrop, why am I going on about all this? Well, who knows where the fuck this thing will go. I mean, I showed you, it's shocking. It has absolutely nothing to do with the value of a Bitcoin. I think that the value of Bitcoin, ironically enough, is actually relatively consistent, relatively stable. The halvening, basically the work of validating the ledger. There is a remuneration for that validation process. And Satoshi, whoever Satoshi is, put into the white paper the way that they get validated for their work. And ironically enough, I don't actually think that work actually has changed. The issue here is what this thing is being priced in is changing, and it's basically collapsing in value. So who knows how high this thing will go? I mean, it could be staggering the levels. Just for fun, just to show you. I'm a big fan of chaos theory. And what do you think, guys? Are we living in a chaotic world? I would definitely say so. I mean, if we do something crazy like do like a Foggenbaum off of this, chaos theory. I mean, where does the bifurcation level come in? I mean, just for fun. Let's see what the hell number that is. There's 2.618. But usually, ironically enough, usually Bitcoin actually stops at about 877, eh? But where's 4.669? There's 4.669. That's up at 250 grand. Are you ready? Oh, goodness. And where's 877? Because like you can see, well, I guess we didn't really hit. I do remember that last cycle. We a guy that I used to work with on the site, he had painted 4669s as a technical objective, and that actually worked really well. But you can even see this is the 20,000 peak Foggenbaum. And you can see in this particular case, God, we went all the way up to 1688. Oh, God. I mean, this, and I've said this repeatedly. I do believe that this is what our cycle looks like. And considering the fact that, Mr. Fink, or whatever the hell his name is, he's got the whole world sort of jazzed. The way that he manipulated that whole ESG thing to make sure that Tesla's stock went up. And, of course, his fund was heavily invested in Tesla. So, no conflict of interest there. Huh? Anyway, and I guess not just fun, but funds. I wouldn't be in a big hurry to call some sort of peak on Bitcoin. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, no, it'll only go up to 150. I don't know, man. Over the next 5-10 years, these numbers could just get absolutely staggering. And again, I hate to say it. I mean, I must sound like a broken record. It's not really anything to do with Bitcoin. It's more to do with the value of this thing over here that we're valuing these things in. And these central bankers, central planners, I mean, God, they've got this society by the short and curlies. And they are just diluting the crap out of these currencies. So anyway, it is what it is. Having said that, make hay while the sun shines. I definitely think it's not in your best interest to chase something like this. But, if you can't control yourself, well, so be it. What I'm doing is slowly selling into these rallies. Actually, it's interesting to see like this SHIB just keeps going higher. Got my next sell half on a double order working. So, again, this is sort of mechanical. I don't want to think, because anytime I think, I just end up getting myself into trouble. So just make sure that this is a mechanical process. Every time the asset doubles, we'll just let some more go. And actually, I was quite proud of the team here this morning. It took a little bit of finagling, but we were able to bang out a double on the Doge. I bought that at about 7.5, 8. And of course, we hit 16, 17, which is a double. So as you can see, was quite pleased to see that we got that free trade. And actually, one thing that's happening right now is that I'm actually falling behind. I probably have about 20 banging out doubles tweets that I should do. But I just haven't gotten around to it. Maybe after we finish the videos here today, we'll do it. But actually, this is an interesting one. Our buddy Zug encouraged me to consider buying into a little bit of his name here, this mute. And actually an absolutely beautiful reload off of this level. But my double was sitting up here at 70 cents. And actually he let me know this morning that I got off a shod here. So actually this is not shod question mark question question question. This is shod exclamation. Yay, way to go. Awesome. So pretty pleased to see that. And it's just name after name after name after name. It's quite remarkable. But this is exactly what you're supposed to do in a bull market is, pay yourself for your hard work. So anyway, that's what we're doing. Slowly but surely. I'm not really in any hurry. And the good part about all this is we're playing from a position of strength. What a tough life. When do I sell? Oh, I get to take more profits today? Oh, what a wonderful life. The key, of course, here is, am I going to come in and want to buy something like that right there? No. Yes, the Doge is moving higher, but can I justify you coming in and telling you, hey, go and buy this, you'll do great? I mean, you don't know. This might be the top. It might go up another 10x. Who fucking knows? But the point here is I always take a risk-first approach. And right now, if I buy this, and it was the same thing as I said yesterday, and actually that's a weekly chart, so daily chart there. I was talking to you guys yesterday here. That's my risk if I go and buy this asset because there's the base, right? This is where somebody stepped in and stopped the bear. This is where somebody stepped in and stopped the bear. This is where somebody stepped in and stopped the bear. So if I buy here, I have to sort of think, when did the last time somebody come in that actually has much deeper pockets than I do and stop the bear? Right? And that, unfortunately, is way down here, which means that that's my risk on the trade. It's still moving higher. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into the business of calling tops here. But as I told you, the smart thing, I think, is don't think. The smart thing, I think, I don't know, I contradicted myself there. And, you know, the whole sell half on a double kind of strategy, where all we really want to do is we just want to have a very mechanical approach. At least this is my approach. And when I was like retail broker kind of idea, I don't know where the top is. But the good part about this sell half on a double strategy is, and I've had coins do this in the past, this thing might go all the way up here. I have no idea. But as long as I sell half of whatever I have left at double my purchase price, I will always be long this. And if it just keeps going and going and going and going, well, I'll just keep spoon feeding coins into the market. So that's basically my strategy right now. Obviously, with crypto acting the way that it is, I probably primarily was talking crypto to you guys today. You know, for whatever it's worth. Oh, just an update on the breadth indicator. Did have a team meeting this morning to review this, and it turns out that some of the math is a mess here on the indicator itself. So if anything, that's good, and we've got Sjord pointed in a direction to try and figure out what the math problem is with the computer. It's not necessarily that this is actually accurately giving you the breadth of the market, is there's something's wrong with the algorithm. So just FYI on that, probably best until we actually sort of officially say, look, we've got this thing operating correctly. Maybe just cool your jets on the algo for the time being. And unfortunately, it is what it is. What I would say is, you know, back in the saddle here first thing this morning. So I run a number of different plans, and of course one of the plans is day trading crude oil. Not really very active day to day, but nonetheless I committed months and months ago to taking the opening range trade setup and being a demonstrator of best practices. So took the trade at 1-to-1, paid ourselves a little bit, got stopped at scratch on the remaining trade, and as you can see, it really wasn't a hell of a lot. They washed the lows, they washed the highs. So clearly today in futures land was all about liquidity hunts. Why? So yeah, I made a couple bucks on the day, but the long and short of it is I'm considering that's a scratch. So why? And the answer, I think, really simply put, is first question is, where the hell do I have the screen? Today's actually a relatively light news day. Nope, I don't have it over here. I have it over here. There we are. So we didn't really have any major news today out of the U.S. We had Fed Hawker speaking. I don't like to be in the market around these Fed speakers. And sure enough, basically today's like a non-event day, econ-wise. And it's also Monday too. So it doesn't really surprise me that the opening range trade didn't really do a hell of a lot. But nonetheless, like I said, committed to my plan. So I took the trade, lived with the results. I made a couple bucks, nothing really to get excited about. Stock market itself, kind of along the same lines as what you're seeing here. Kind of a malaise. There's not a lot of news driving price action. I might have entertained the idea of hunting shorts, you know, if I drill down to like a 3-minute chart kind of idea, you know, or, you know, there's a 9-minute chart here. You know, did we actually have something to work with here? Kind of sloppy. Did have a cute little double top that came in on that. I'm actually warming up to the idea of trading the NASDAQ. It seems to be working pretty well. I think you could actually make the argument, I've seen this working quite well on the NASDAQ recently, and we'll finish off the free video with this. Was this a market structure shift, that ICT guy breaking of previous lows since we did go to new highs? Yeah, maybe. I mean, you might have even argued there a market structure shift since this was a W. Breaking it, and then, is this your, excuse me, is this your, fair value gap kind of concept in there, that window? And what I would just simply say is, can you short the Mountain Man level? So I've noticed that that seems to be the number that the market works with. And oh, what a surprise. Market rallied right up into Mountain Man. Brandon would have gotten his fill. And of course, been boasting to everybody what a badass trader he was. And boom, down goes price. So actually pretty cliche. And I got to say, this ICT guy's setup, I think he calls it a silver bullet or something like that. It's pretty darn consistent. So you got to hand it to him. I'm trying to demonstrate this repeatedly in these videos. And maybe you get to the point where you're like, well, okay, I think I see this, Brian. And, I'll try and maybe paper trade this for a month or two and see if I can get into that groove. So, long and short of it here, and interesting to see the gold price really ramping up. Is gold and Bitcoin now sort of reconnecting? Bitcoin, of course, went to new highs. Somebody over there on the site had posted, like I said earlier, that Bitcoin had gone to new highs in the euro. I don't know whether it's gone to new highs here in the US currency. Not quite. Still a little bit away, but getting close. Interesting how we did bang up into this 2.618 and, of course, candle body highs. And this previous high here, which was, what is that, 65. So, yeah, we've got levels, but really nothing really solid to work with. I had explained yesterday that if I was a lower time frame day trader, I might have hunted this bot setup, which would have had me get long from about 61,000, we'll call it something like that. And you can see, boink, we hit that bot profit objective level. And, from a lower time frame day trader's perspective, what do you think the odds are we're starting to go into divergence here? So you can see MACD is starting to peter out. It hasn't confirmed the divergence, so you probably want to see a little bit of a break here, confirm the divergence, and then if you got an M, you could maybe think about shorting. But lower time frames, probably 90% of the people that I talk to and watch these videos, this isn't your type of trading. This would be like along the lines of, that opening range trade, futures trades kind of stuff. So had you taken this long, I think your profit level has been hit. So I'd be back on the sidelines waiting for some sort of consolidation in here before I think of my next move. And then, as I said, just sort of finishing off, if you do have your names popping here, just make darn sure to pay yourself for your hard-earned efforts. I've got open orders working at my levels, and I just let the market run into my levels. And that's basically what I'm doing right now. So we'll hop on over to the after party, maybe look at some of the ideas that I'm actually throwing new money at. Maybe what we'll do in the after party is maybe just scroll through. These are all the little old lady names that I have on for the little old lady portfolio. And I already showed you I got another double off on this mute. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about what our next move is and if there's any ideas that I'm throwing new money at. Okay, let's leave it at that. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Come on over to the site and join the after party. It's always a fun adventure, of course, as well, too. We do have the 30-day trial, so you can come and join the after party and see what our community's like. And I think it's like $1 or something like that just for 30 days, which I think is pretty reasonable. And maybe we'll even talk a little bit about what kind of names in Solana I'm interested in picking up, because there are some pretty interesting looking little ideas. W's, anyone? So there you go. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now.